Year 1995. I am a botany honor student at Delhi University. I was doing fairly well. I knew where I was going towards. I had a few friends who took computer courses, and I was super fascinated by their conversations. And then I realized that I'm kind of more drawn to the conversations they were having around software, around logic, and the new world of technology was opening up. What I found was that after college, I was hanging out most of the time in their institutes and all the time having these conversations and discussions around technology. This was not planned. A career in technology was not planned, but I ended up enrolling myself for a computer course, and that changed my career path completely differently. Moving on to year 2009. Now, I was a techie. I was involved in enterprise technology space, building world-class products, systems at SAP, used by millions of people, systems at scale. I was enjoying building the tech, but somewhere my questions had shifted. I was moving on from how to build this application to questioning, why do we need this application? Who are we building it for? What is the problem that I'm solving? I shifted from, am I building the right things, instead of asking, am I building it right? And that quiet curiosity led me to take the role of a product manager. Moving on, year 2022. The world was just coming out of COVID. I was now a senior product leader at a product company. I had a great team. I was surrounded by great people. I definitely had a comfortable salary, recognition, and a personal brand which I had put years to build. Life was good. I wasn't unhappy, but deep inside me, I felt unfulfilled, a feeling that was hard to describe. I was curious about things that were beyond my job. What is my larger purpose? What is that I can do to create a greater impact? I dwelled on it. I gave myself some thought, spoke to my family and my friends, and then I made a deliberate choice, and I ventured into my solopreneurship journey. And I'm glad that I gave myself the chance. I'm grateful that I let curiosity lead me to the choices that I made, to the decisions that I took, to the possibilities that I explored, and most importantly, expanded my wings and took those flights. Today, I am a product executive, I'm a product advisor, and mentored hundreds of startups in the last 4 years, coached and trained thousands of product professionals and students who are aspiring to be product managers, and built products like QuickBooks, TurboTax, payments platform, which are used by millions of users. So have you ever had a phase where you thought that life is going good, but something deep inside you feels restless? So what is this feeling all about? This is not about, a life-changing event, or this is not about leaving your job. This is about that innate core emotion where you are constantly asking yourself, how can I be a better version of myself? What can I do so that I grow? What is that I can do so that I can continue to be relevant? And that emotion is called as curiosity, right? So when you are curious, it brings in clarity. It makes you a better human being. Most importantly, it helps you to develop a better sense of judgment. It helps you to bring in a better human being and also led you to grow and, more important, get a sense of fulfillment. And believe me, it is a continuous process. So today, I'm going to share a mental model which I have used in my own life that has brought in clarity, helped me explore new possibilities and opportunities. And I call them as 3 C's. The first one is staying curious about things around you. The second one is finding courage to take that first step, do those small experiments. And the third one is that as you gain clarity from that experiences and experiments, how can you consistently build on them? And that brings in the compounding effect. So 4 years ago, when I left my job at PayPal as a director of products, most of my colleagues thought that she has a very clear roadmap, she knows exactly what she wants to do. But on the contrary, I still had a lot of unsolved or unanswered questions. And I definitely knew that I wanted to work with startups, I wanted to teach, I wanted to basically share my learnings, my expertise, my craft to the next generation of product managers. But I wanted to explore, I wanted to reflect. So what did I do? I reached out to people who had already taken this transition, and believe me, they were very few. I reached out to complete strangers, industry peers, had a lot of conversations. So number one, the key learning was that I figured out business models and products I never knew existed. Number two, I realized that people were more than happy to help. All you had to do was ask for that help. Raise your hand and ask for help. Now, while I had these conversations, I will not say that every conversation validated my belief. There were conversations after which I kind of doubted. Did I take the right decision? Was it sane to leave a very safe, cushioned job and go into this world of uncertainty? Right? But most important, I stayed on the course. Then, these conversations brought in clarity. The path started to appear. And then, I started following in this journey. Now, when we think about curiosity, many of us think either we have it or we don't have it. First of all, that's not true. Most of us have those quietly arising curious questions within us. And what happens is that most of the time, we just brush it under the carpet. We put it on for a later day. We say, let's be practical. We say, this is not the right time. Think about times when it has happened to you. When you would have been offered a role, and you say that, you know what, probably I don't know enough about this function today. Maybe I will come back to this later. How many times it has happened to you when you go through the social media post, and you say, I will save it for later, and I'll come back and eat it. But you never went back there. I personally have graveyards of those kind of unread posts, right? So the biggest risk of not being curious is not failing. It is not finding out. So I have a question that what was the last time when you had this quiet curiosity about something and you did not follow through? Let that curiosity linger for a while. Give space to it. Don't negate it, and follow it up with one more step. Curiosity showed me the direction. Courage gave me the permission, or rather I would say I gave myself permission to take up that first step. If swimming is like, if you want to learn swimming, then think of it, curiosity is like dipping your toes into the water, and taking that first class, taking that first dip in the water is the courage. Let me share a story here. So I come from a family of creative people. My dad was a journalist. He would write some thought-provoking articles. My mother, though she was a teacher, she loved Hindi poetry. She wrote great Hindi poetry. I, on the other side, always thought that I had no muscle for creativity. Even today, if you ask me that, can you draw a scenery, I will exactly draw it like the way how my second grade teacher showed me, with mountains and the sun and a water flowing in, right? So I always thought that I have not inherited the writing part of it. But I loved reading. I always had tons of ideas. Interestingly, when I became a product manager, you are expected to do a lot of product documentation. I did decently well there. Then I rose up the ladder, and I figured out that I need to establish my thought leadership. So one of the ways, which is a very beautiful way of expression, is writing. So finally, I made up my mind. I said that, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I wrote a topic, I wrote a small article, And I think the harder part now was that take it to a few of my, people, friends, and say, can you give me feedback? They were super encouraging, very, very supportive. After a couple of iterations, now comes the hardest part, wherein I put it out in a professional platform. And while I kind of, breath saying that, okay, this is the first time, and this was about like 9 years back, that went viral. And the kind of encouragement, feedbacks, comments that I got it gave me immense confidence to write that next piece. It gave me clarity of what I wanted to write. And today, 9 years later, I have written hundreds of articles and hoping to write a book soon. So all I'm trying to say is that do not hesitate to take that first step, because unless you take the first step, you doesn't know that what lies ahead. Do those small experiments. Learn from it. If it doesn't work, it is okay. Failure is part of the learning. It is part of the process. Yeah? So courage is not the absence of fear. It is about the willingness to stay in that discomfort for a much longer time. When we think about courage, we said, oh my God, that person is so confident, that person is fearless. But if you ask me, courage comes in much smaller packets. It comes in staying when it is probably more easier to go back. Think about you being a part of 100 people in a virtual Zoom meeting, and you unmute yourself, ask a question which you yourself are not sure is the right question. That is courage, right? So today I'm going to ask you, what is that one thing which you attempted, which probably felt awkward, and you pulled back? You never bent back to it. Think about it. Now let me go back to my entrepreneurship journey, the solopreneurship journey. As I said, I have been exploring a lot of things. I wrote, I have been writing, I have been teaching, I have been working with startups. And I also started a podcast. My personal interest was that all these different things that I do, I wanted to anchor it with my tech products. Now, one of the key traits that is very important to translate your courage into vision is to be consistent in whatever you do. In the last 4 years, I have done a lot of experiments. I have tried different social media platforms. I have made collaborations. I have made partnerships. Some of them worked. Many of them did not work. But the most important part was that I learned with every one of them what did not work out. I moved forward, and I tried to go more deeper in what worked. And today, one thing led to the other. And I feel very, very proud to say that today, in the last 1.5 years, I have done 40 plus episodes of my podcast, something which I had no idea before I started. And I have done more than 10,000 hours of teaching. So being consistent has compounding effect. Think about it. All of us love transformation journeys. Especially all of us love fitness journeys. We like to put our before and after. But believe me, the hard part comes in the in-between of the before and after. They are boring. They are invisible. You don't see the improvement every single day. But over a period of time, when you look back, that is when you realize the change that has been made by just being consistently being at it. So don't wait for that perfect plan. Just get started, be curious, look at what is that first step that you can take, and start by doing it. So tell me, when was the last that you attempted something but you quit too early? So from today, I have 3 key takeaways for you. The first one, curiosity. You don't need clarity to start with. Curiosity is enough. So tell me, what is that one question that you would like to ask? Courage. Courage is not dramatic. It is quiet courage, that quiet step that you need to take. So what is that first thing that you would like to try? Consistency. Small steps, repetitions can create disproportionate futures. So what could you compound if you stayed with it? So life was good when I stayed. It became meaningful when I explored it. So expand the wings of possibilities. Discover it, find it within yourself, keep trying, keep learning, and every single day new possibilities will keep emerging. Thank you.